Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to SMA's brand new virtual format, Let's Talk Energy Power On, where we are about to head into our last session for this morning in English in the area of home and business solutions. And it is a juicy one, I can guarantee you that, because we, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be talking about sustainability next. And for this, I would like to welcome not one, but two talkers. Please give a big round of virtual applause to Matthias Schepers.
Hi.
He is a corporate sustainability manager. Great to have you here, Matthias.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And we have the master student, Andres Castro. Great to have you here too.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So can the two of you explain to our viewers out there across the globe a little bit more specific, like what it is that you're actually doing at SMA?
Okay, so I'm the corporate sustainability manager here at SMA, and so I'm concentrating on the strategy for our sustainability part and with a focus more on the energy and environmental topic and also mobility management. And I'm here at SMA since 2008, starting as an architect, and since 2012, I'm responsible for the sustainability part.
Andres, what about you?
Well, I started here at the SMA doing my internship, then I wrote my master thesis here, and actually now I'm a sustainable specialist here. So it's pretty nice to be here, especially that I'm coming from Colombia and now I'm here, so it's like a really nice experience.
Your master thesis is super exciting. We're going to talk a little bit more in detail about that a little bit later. So Matthias, if I can get to you, sustainability seems to be just like electromobility, also like, you know, everybody's talking about it right now. And in terms of companies, it seems to me that a lot of companies are claiming to, you know, be sustainability to some degree or another. And yeah, they claim to be sustainable. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's definitely a trend, and it's a positive trend because we have to change something in the way of our life. So actually, we need more resources than our Earth can handle. And so if we all people in the world would live like us here in Germany, we would need more than 3 Earths. So thus, we live at the expense of our next generation. And so it's not surprising that the next generation is demanding that what sustainability really means, generational equity. And it means for companies that they have to handle with their resources in a more efficient and more sustainable way, and use more renewable energies to maintain our standard of living. Yeah, that's one point. And the other is, for companies, the crux of the matter is that sustainability is changing from, let's say, nice to have to a need to have or must have. But unfortunately, there are also companies that use this expression only to look good in the public.
Would you agree, Andres?
Yeah, totally. I agree with this statement, and it's true that many companies use just this to give a better image about it, but it's not really what is focusing in the strategy of the company and so on. That is a really important topic.
This morning, I got to ask the CEO of SMA Solar Technology AG, Dr. Jürgen Reinhardt, what does sustainability mean for SMA? How would you answer this question?
Yeah, at SMA, sustainability has been a part of the company DNA since its foundation. And even the founders realized, always in 1981, the necessity of this point. So I'm convinced that you can only act in a sustainable way when you integrate this in your company strategy. And so did SMA. So from the beginning, we combined economic success with environmental and social responsibility. And I think our employees identify with these principles or this philosophy. But this can't be dictated from the management. It's more like an intrinsic motivation.
Has to come from the inside, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and so in general, we have developed 4 action fields here at SMA. So we want to concentrate the first action field on products and processes. The second one deals with environment and energy. The third one is named employees. And the fourth, corporate responsibility.
Yeah, I totally agree with Matthias, and it is really important that companies actually commit in their own business field. And that is why SMA also commit in this energy and environment, and they have developed some measures and some targets to fight against climate change and also to increase the use of renewable energies. And that was also a point to develop this climate roadmap, which has for target not just to be CO2 neutral, but also to source the energy that cannot be produced here at SMA from regional, decentralized, and renewable energies. And this has also a really big connection with the building and infrastructure here at SMA. So we have many buildings with these photovoltaic power plants. We have our first worldwide CO2 inverter factory here in Germany. We also have this building, the Solar Academy building, and we have the next inverter factory, which is a really cool building made of wood. And also it's part of this industrial park, which is nearly powered by 100% renewable energies. And this is not just in the building, but also inside of the company. We have also exemplary energy management strategies.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty amazing. Matthias, can you give us some more examples of where SMA really incorporates this sustainability?
Yes. So I talked about this 4 action fields. Mm-hmm. So there are our that's our specific fields in that. Yes.
One, of course, very important topic is also the Solar Academy, which has come up today during the sessions a few times. We had some videos that were shot over at the Solar Academy. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a closer look. We have Tillman, who was over there. He recorded a video, and he will tell us a little bit more about that very special building right now.
Welcome to the Günther Kramer Solar Academy, SMA's training center. The Günther Kramer Solar Academy is a light tower project of SMA's vision for a sustainable future powered completely by renewable energy. And the building itself runs 100% on renewable energy. The main power source is the solar modules on the roof and in the facade. And the Sunny Boy inverters that you see behind me, installed 10 years ago during the construction of the buildings, they do the conversion of the energy and provide it into the building's energy system. And this is where things get really interesting, because the Solar Academy is not connected to the public utility grid. It is an off-grid building that has its own power grid built by the Sunny Island inverters that you see behind me. The Sunny Islands take the energy, the solar power from the Sunny Boy inverters. They supply the loads within the building. They store excess energy in a battery. When additional power is required, they take it from the battery or automatically switch on an additional power source. In the case of this building, the additional power source would be a combined heat and power plant running on biogas. The Solar Academy itself has proven that as a training center for up to 2,500 training attendees that come here every year to learn and experience this in a building not connected to the public grid, and that without any loss of convenience. Obviously, this is not the only lighthouse project at SMA. This is just one step within our sustainability and climate strategy. It is one milestone there. Other milestones are, for example, our carbon neutral production facilities that have also been partly inspired by the learnings we had from this building here. Come here, join us in the Solar Academy. We want to empower you as our partner to help us bring about this vision of a sustainable future powered by renewables. Thank you.
That was a great video by Tillman, and I'm going to let you know about some specific dates when you can, for instance, take part in a training session over there at the Solar Academy. Now, Matthias, the technology developed and sold by SMA is, of course, used to produce solar energy. Doesn't that alone make you sustainable already?
Yeah, it's not the first time I hear this question. And to be honest, it's absolutely great, and it's motivating to work in the PV industry and to increase the use of renewable energies and be part of a sustainable future. So, and I think our customers feel the same. But developing solutions for a sustainable energy supply doesn't mean that the company for itself act in a sustainable way. So that's the difference. And for companies, sustainability means you have to act in balance between economic, ecological, and social aspects. So that's very important, and sometimes there is a misunderstanding because a lot of people think sustainability only means environmental protection or social responsibility, but it's just more. And I think no measure could be sustainable if it isn't cost-effective and economically viable for the company and also for the consumer. And what's also important that the company doesn't only concentrate on their company field. Sustainability means the implementation across the whole value chain.
Andres, can you tell us more about that value chain?
Yeah, for sure, and that is right. The value chain is a really important topic, and we have to start from the raw materials and the minerals. We have to check there are some environmental impacts and human rights issues, then going through the whole supply chain, the delivery, the manufacture of the products. There, the quality play a really important role there. And what is also really important, and sometimes is really overseen, is that the end of use and end of life of our products is also really important. There is a big challenge to recover this value of those materials there. And that is why we have developed and carried out some lifecycle assessments to identify where those hotspots in our products are. And as you can see in the slide, we have one of the categories is greenhouse gas emissions. And actually, the results are really interesting. But I think Matthias can clarify this better.
Okay, thank you, Andres. Yeah, we had really great findings there because we found out that SMA is only responsible for approximately 1 to 3% of the product carbon footprint. And the main impacts are coming from the supply chain. And one reason for this 1 to 3% are our CO2 neutral production. So, and based on this life cycle assessment, we decided that we want to foster our engagement at the beginning, in the development phase. And so we designed a sustainable guideline for products.
So, but how do you secure and measure your sustainability, not only on a company level, but also on a product level?
First of all, we have to mention what is the really special thing in our sustainability strategy. So we have decided to distinguish between the key drivers for the company and for the product. And therefore, we have designed two key performance indicators, which helps us to measure our success of our sustainability performance. So that was a very important aspect. And yeah, we are quite proud about these parameters because now we are able, to set us ambitious goals, and we can report in a transparent way about this performance. So, and the big heading about this is create more value with less resources.
If you viewers at home would like to see this chart a little bit bigger, you can just go onto the full screen on the product page right here, and then you can see the slide that Matthias and Andres brought a lot bigger. So from the company KPI,
So I want to describe a bit more deeper this KPI because we created performance indicators for this. And as you can see on the slide, we want to increase some of the indicators, more value, and we want to reduce other parts, these other indicators under the red arrow. And the gap between these two arrows stands for our holistic sustainability performance, in this case for our company. And let's have a deeper view on our main drivers for sustainability in our company. There is the corporate citizenship. That's an indicator for social responsibility. Our sustainable supply chain, where we measure the performance of our main suppliers and want to increase the value. We have the indicator profitability. That's an indicator for economic success. And one of our main drivers for sustainability, the quality. And the others we want to reduce are, first of all, material use, which is an important indicator for resource efficiency. Then the CO2 emissions, that's the carbon footprint of our company. And the waste indicator, that's the reduction of the amount of the waste in our production. And last but not least, the thickness illness rate, where we measure our health and safety performance. But the more special KPI is the company KPI. And I think with this KPI, SMA makes a big difference to other companies.
That's right. And although this product KPI works in the same way as the company, we have here a big heading, it is the circular economy. So we want to increase the use of renewable energies through not just in the manufacture, but all around the supply chain. We also have design for recycling, where we want to increase the recyclability of our products. We want to use preferable materials which are environmental friendly, but also secondary materials. And we have the quality again as one of the main drivers here, because it stands for the durability of our products. We want to reduce, of course, our CO2 footprint. We want to reduce this relation between the material that we use and the performance of our products. We want to reduce also this wastage in some production, but also these non-preferable materials. And they make reference to those normative regulated materials, those which has some relation with security supply issues, and also important, these bad reputation materials which have some risk for SMA in their image and reputation.
So I have two more questions before we get to the Q&A. The questions that you, dear viewers, are submitting via the interactive tool right here for Matthias and Andres. So I'd like to know, like, what customer benefits are there, apart from, of course, having a good conscience, you know, in using your sustainable products? And would I, as a customer, have to pay extra for this sustainability and this good conscience?
So there are a lot of benefits for our customers, and we want to concentrate on four main benefits. So first of all, the high quality and longevity. So we put special emphasis on the longevity of our products, even under the harshest conditions. So with this, we save our customers money. But there is another benefit for the environment, because if, for example, an inverter lasts 2 times longer, you need only buy half of the resources. So then the second benefit is the part of service and repairability. There are also discussion in politics about this issue, mandatory repairability. Mm-hmm. And in my point of view, or in my opinion, I think electronic components are too valuable as to be thrown away as soon as a defect occurs. And to minimize also field failures, SMA has developed solutions for easier service. So the third benefit is social and environmental responsibility. And I think so customers' requirement on these aspects are increasing rapidly. Mm-hmm. And the customers demand also from the PV industry that we act in a sustainable way and in an exemplary manner. And the fourth one, that's the most complex benefit, the circular economy. And now I want to ask you a short question. What do you think? What species is the only one on Earth which acts in a linear and not in a circular way?
Well, of course, I prepared myself for today, and I knew that you might come with a tough question for me, so it would be human beings, right? Yeah, absolutely. The human beings is the only species in what we take things out of the nature, we change them, then we use them, and after that we throw them away. And that's, in my opinion, one of the biggest challenges for the whole society and also for the industry. And that's the reason why SMA has defined a strategy for the circular economy. And Andres is the expert in this. That was one of his main focuses in this master thesis, and so I want to hand over to you.
Well, that's right. We were working really hard with Matthias for 6 months to come with this circular economy strategy for SMA. It's really tailored for SMA, and we were focusing at the materials and component levels. And we also developed this specific strategy, which is based in design for recycling, preferable materials, and non-preferable materials. And now with those results, we are actually able to describe, but also to measure our materials in order to make decisions, but also to measure the sustainability of each of them. That is quite good. And the best part of this is that none of those benefits cost anything for the client, for the customers. They actually can rely that they are getting a really sustainable product, and this product also fulfill all these legal requirements.
Wow. To finish off before we get to the Q&A, I'd like to know, and I think that's important for the customer groups out there also, maybe you can have some recommendations for us. How can customer groups and end consumers decide whether a solar company and its products are actually sustainable?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because sometimes it's not easy to distinguish between a company which acts really sustainable and a company which only seems to be sustainable. That's right. So how can you recognize this? First of all, make a deeper look in the disclosure of the company. In the company report, or maybe there is a sustainability report in place. And the first recommendation is, when you look at this report, can you find all the key drivers for sustainability? And does they define performance indicators for this? And then, are there also performance indicators across the whole value chain? And the third thing is, that this has to be in a more transparent way. Or are there another aspect? Are there defined goals, realistic goals on that? And the second recommendation is that what I told before, look, if the company is reporting in a more transparent way, only then you can trust the seriousness. So therefore it's important if the company used an international standard like the Global Reporting Initiative and the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. And even then you can compare each company. And the third recommendation regards to the product, and there it's very difficult to compare products, whereas the most sustainable product. And so that's the reason why we support the initiative of the European Union with their approach for eco-design and eco-label for PV plants. And this is still just in work, and we think we can expect in 2 or 3 years the results. And even then, the customer is able to compare each product category and also each company. And to summarize it in short terms, I would say we all sit in the same boat, and we all have to accelerate our efforts to protect our future. And so let's work together on that.
What a fantastic final statement. Thank you so much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go straight into the Q&A session coming up right now. So thank you so much, dear viewers, for handing in all the questions for our Q&A session right now. And if Andres and Matthias, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. So let's look at the screen. Here they are ready, the first couple of questions. And here's the first one. What are the effects of the logistic within the LCA? Is there a big difference between, for example, suppliers from China or Germany? Matthias?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And we had the same question when we start with our lifecycle assessments at SMA. When we made this lifecycle assessment for our Sunny Boy 2.5, we had also, the question, we thought, okay, where are the main impacts? And they are placed in the mining, in the production of the components, the production at SMA. But we also thought it would be a big impact within the logistics, but it isn't. So we compared if we use more suppliers regional or more suppliers overseas, and there is a difference 0.1% in our life cycle assessment. So it doesn't matter really.
Worth mentioning. Okay. And what are our measures to reduce the CO2 emissions within, or what are your measures, I believe, measures to reduce the CO2 emissions within the supply chain?
Yeah, I should take that one.
Okay.
Supply chain expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think SMA is actually attempting to reduce the CO2 emissions, and we have two focus. The first one is at the company level. We have this key performance indicator is renewable energies, but also in our products. We want to decrease the CO2 emission in our products, and we go to the supply chain. We could say we come from cradle to grave, and we check there everything. So we have these key performance indicators, and there are measures and certainly some actions in order to reduce this.
To add shortly something, you have seen in our life cycle assessments, the big impact is placed in the supply chain. And so in the product KPI, we found out that we want to increase the use of the renewable energies of our suppliers. We want to cooperate with them and want to help them to increase the use, and maybe we have the right product for that in case.
Absolutely. Could you say something about the recycling rate of your products? That's an important topic, of course, too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we just have two answers, a short one and a large one.
So we've got 2 minutes and a bunch more questions, so we'll take the middle short
Oh,
answer.
the middle. Okay, I will take the short and you can add something to that.
All right.
Because the short answer is, we know the recycling rate, and we know when we look only at the materials, our recycling rate is near to 90%.
Yeah, and that is true, is the 90%, but we also want it to be better and actually design our products to be recycled. That means that we are also collaborating with the stakeholders to increase our recyclability of our products. So we are taking also in consideration 3 different aspects that maybe for the time is not so easy to clarify everything, but we are putting effort in this design for recycling category to increase this even above 90%.
But, I mean, I'm sorry, 90% already is pretty up there, no?
Yeah.
But you want to go higher?
Yeah, we want to go higher because we want to recover this maximum value of our materials.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, why sustainability? Why sustainability is just focus in mobility and not in the way things are manufactured and how resources have to be given back to the earth. But we kind of talked about how things are manufactured, and we talked about the life cycle, and we kind of talked about that. But maybe you want to say another 1 or 2 clarifying sentences in regards to that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our sustainability strategy, as we mentioned, is like really holistic and is taking into consideration multiple drivers, and it's just not focused in mobility. Maybe it was a misunderstanding, but we're also taking into consideration, as Matthias said, energy and environment, our employees, product and processes, and our corporate social responsibility. So there is quite huge topics, and about the last part, giving back to the earth, we have our circular economy strategy, which is kind of really focused on this. Yeah.
Now, if the person who asked this question would like to know more about that and read more, can you direct them to somewhere? Can they get some information, more information on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have our company report, and there is integrated our non-financial report, and there are all informations about that. And also in the internet, on our SMA website.
Because it's, of course, a very big subject. We talked about it before, but it's sort of two sentences might not be enough of an answer for the viewer out there. Okay, we have 20 seconds. Ooh. What are SMA's KPIs for sustainability in 3 words, Matthias?
Wow.
In 3 words. We had said everything about the KPIs.
We said it earlier.
I think the main point is environmental protection. This is one. Social responsibility aspects, starting in the supply chain and ends at the end of the use of the product.
So at this point, thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here, and thank you for presenting your case to us.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.